Enraged wild buffalo. When the lion pride becomes prey, the moment a lion moves close to a Cape buffalo herd is never a simple approach. It is a narrow boundary between a hunt and a counterattack. A single miscalculation can cause the hunt to collapse immediately. In front of the lion is not only prey, but a collective mass of force with horns ready to pierce anything that comes too close. Many pursuits end in tense silence when the predator is forced to retreat. In this situation, there are no complex tactics. Only the direct physical forces of nature face each other. Early sunlight reaches the dry savannah and reveals thin dust trails stirred by heavy movement in the distance. A large, dark mass gradually appears on the horizon without breaking formation or losing order. It is a Cape buffalo herd moving across sparse grassland. Massive bodies align in a compact formation with heads lowered and curved, horns pressed inward to form a continuous defensive front. No individual moves out of rhythm. Each step maintains precise spacing that is sufficient for shielding and immediate response to approach. Thick skin coated with dry dust reduces the impact of collisions and claws. Large horns with thick bases lock firmly on both sides of the head and function as a living barrier when the herd is pressured. The herd does not need to increase speed. On open grassland, a slow but steady pace is sufficient to control surrounding space. Their presence forces other species to maintain a safe distance. There is no display behavior and no need for pursuit. Herd structure numbers and body mass are sufficient to establish ecological order in the area. The Cape buffalo is a large grazing species with a heavy and compact body structure. An adult male can weigh close to 2,000 pounds, with a broad skeleton, well-developed muscles, and a low body profile that creates a stable center of gravity on open terrain. Thick, dark skin covers the entire body and reduces injury from collisions, teeth, and claws, while also limiting the effects of parasites and high temperatures. The most prominent feature is the large head, with horns fused at the forehead, forming a solid bone structure known as the boss. This structure is thick, heavy, and continuous, and can withstand strong impact forces. When facing danger, the buffalo lowers its head and channels force through the forehead and horns. A direct frontal charge can cause severe injury. The boss functions not only as a weapon, but also protects the skull and brain from heavy impacts. The horns curve outward with sharp tips that expand the defensive range. In confined space, short, decisive movements of the head and neck generate significant force, making frontal or side approaches extremely risky, even for large predators. Cape buffalo rarely live alone. They move and feed in large herds, ranging from several dozen to hundreds of individuals. The herd maintains a dense formation with calves and weaker individuals in the center and stronger adults surrounding them. When a threat appears, the formation tightens instead of dispersing. The strength of the Cape buffalo does not rely on speed, but on body mass, physical structure, and coordinated group behavior. Even a tight defensive formation does not completely eliminate risk. At the edge of the dry grassland, lionesses lie close to the ground, maintaining distance and limiting movement. All attention is focused on the buffalo herd ahead. Time is used to observe, evaluate walking rhythm and formation stability without signs of urgency. When the wind shifts, body scent spreads through the hot, dry air. Movement pressure appears at the edge of the herd. One individual slows, and the distance from the group ahead briefly increases. The predators rise simultaneously, accelerate over a short distance, and rapidly close the gap. The herd response occurs immediately. Surrounding individuals turn inward and compress the formation. Heads lower and horns face outward to form a closed defensive circle. Impact force and large body mass make deep penetration dangerous. Unable to isolate a target, the hunting formation loses its advantage. The approach is blocked. The lions are forced to retreat to avoid injury. There is no prolonged pursuit. The encounter ends quickly. The buffalo herd rapidly stabilizes its formation and continues moving. The walking rhythm remains slow and continuous, and no individual is left behind. When predation pressure decreases, the herd enters the breeding season. Adult males gather more closely and spacing narrows. Direct physical clashes occur briefly and repeatedly and are sufficient to establish rank and access to females. Females then carry calves for nearly 12 months, in alignment with environmental cycles. When rains arrive, grass recovers, and calves are born during periods of abundant food. Calves quickly integrate into the main formation and are kept at the center of the herd. Adult individuals surround them and form multiple layers of protection. The life cycle of the Cape buffalo continues through stable, wet and dry seasons and provides the foundation for long-term survival on the savannah. When the buffalo herd moves away, thin dust clouds remain suspended above the dry ground. The savannah space quickly returns to its familiar open state. In another area, new movement begins to form. A pack of African wild dogs appears, moving continuously and not remaining in one place for long. This is one of the most efficient active predators in open plains. African wild dogs depend on a highly organized pack structure. Individuals maintain clear spacing while moving, but continue constant contact. The mottled coat of each animal has a unique pattern which allows rapid identification during high-speed chases. Packs usually include multiple generations with stable order and long maintained roles. Most of the day is spent moving and searching for prey. African wild dogs do not wait silently for opportunity. They actively hunt in open space where visibility is wide and obstacles are limited. When a target is detected, the formation immediately stretches. Each individual maintains a separate approach direction, creating pressure. Within the African wild dog pack structure, reproduction is not distributed. Only one breeding pair holds the reproductive role. The remaining members of the pack remain non-breeding for extended periods. This distribution stabilizes population size and maintains effective hunting formation. When pups are born, they remain in the den area during the early stage. The entire pack participates in protection. Adult individuals take turns leaving to hunt and then returning. Food is delivered directly to the pups through regurgitation, ensuring energy supply during rapid development. Parental care is linked to pack movement rhythm. When pups become large enough to follow the pack, the formation is adjusted. Travel speed decreases. Spacing between individuals is reduced. Priority shifts towards safety and control of surrounding space. All behavior is directed toward maintaining the pack as a unified unit. During foraging, African wild dogs frequently encounter hyenas. This species is densely present within the same hunting areas. Hyenas tend to approach carcasses that have just been killed. These encounters occur suddenly, at close range, and do not last long. The wild dog pack must react quickly to protect the food source or withdraw at the correct moment. Tension is consistently present in overlapping territorial zones. Not every encounter ends with food retained. Loss of food is part of the survival cycle. However, the pack does not disintegrate after failure. African wild dogs continue moving, reorganize formation, and hunt in another area. Life rhythm is not interrupted. The survival of African wild dogs does not depend on individual strength. Pack structure, coordinated hunting, reproductive allocation, and collective care form the foundation that sustains the population. In an open and highly variable environment, tight cohesion allows the species to persist across generations. Spotted hyenas live in large clans with strong organization. Their social structure is clearly layered and remains stable over long periods. The center of power lies with female individuals. They occupy the highest rank, control access to food, and determine reproductive rights. Females are typically larger and possess greater physical strength. This order is maintained through direct contact vocal signals and positioning during access to prey. Hyena clans move continuously across wide areas. Each individual clearly understands its position within the system. Young hyenas grow up in a competitive environment and quickly learn how to access food and maintain appropriate distance. Clan stability allows hyenas to maintain population size and control territory effectively. Hyenas do not rely on carrion. Most of their energy comes from active hunting. They are capable of taking down medium-sized ungulates as well as young or weakened individuals of larger species. Hunts usually occur in groups. Individuals surround the target, apply continuous pressure, and force prey into exhaustion. Hyena jaws are highly developed with strong bite force, allowing thick bones to be crushed. As a result, nearly the entire carcass is consumed, including meat, bone, and marrow. Within the savannah ecosystem, hyenas frequently interact with other carnivores at shared food sources. Conflicts are short but intense. Large numbers and coordinated behavior prevent easy displacement. However, hyenas readily withdraw when conditions become unfavorable. Beyond hunting, hyenas contribute to the removal of remaining animal remains across the savannah. Complete consumption limits carcass accumulation and returns nutrients to the environment. Hyena presence supports material flow within the ecosystem. In open landscapes, hyena clans remain an inseparable component of biological order. The buffalo herd is forced to continue its journey as the dry season arrives. Water sources shrink and green grass becomes scarce. The herd moves more slowly and the formation stretches with clear signs of fatigue. The lions do not rush. Another lion pride waits in ambush near the last remaining waterhole. They remain still in the shade and observe with patience. When the buffalo herd enters the dangerous zone, the formation loosened. One exhausted individual falls behind. The gap is small, but sufficient to create a fatal opportunity. The lions attack from multiple directions. The attack ends quickly. This time, the buffalo does not escape. The herd pauses briefly and then continues moving and leaves death as an inevitable part of life. The ground begins to vibrate slightly before the elephant herd becomes clearly visible in the frame. Large bodies move slowly but steadily and create a characteristic movement rhythm of the savannah. Elephants do not move as isolated individuals. They live in herds with a clear matriarchal structure, with the oldest female holding the leadership role. This individual retains information about migration routes, seasonal water sources, and areas where risk has occurred before. This memory allows the herd to maintain stable movement patterns over many years. Within the formation, calves are always kept in the safest position. Adult individuals surround them and form a natural barrier as the herd moves across open areas. When a threat appears, the response is rapid and organized. The formation tightens. Large bodies turn outward. The central space is completely sealed. This structure reduces the possibility of direct access from outside. The presence of elephants extends beyond herd movement. Each day, an adult individual consumes a large quantity of vegetation. Feeding activities, including pushing over small trees, breaking branches and digging up roots, occur continuously. While searching for water, elephants use tusks and feet to dig deep into dry soil and expose underground water. These waterholes remain after the herd leaves and become access points for many other species during the dry season. Elephant activity produces clear changes across the landscape. Young trees are removed, pathways are widened, and vegetation is naturally regulated. As a result, open savanna space is maintained and dense woody growth is limited. In shallow waters of rivers and wetlands, hippos spend most of their time submerged to reduce body heat and protect thick skin from intense sunlight. Their bodies remain almost fully underwater. Only the eyes, ears, and nostrils rise above the surface and allow observation and breathing. Hippo living space is clearly divided. A dominant male occupies the central area and controls access routes and other individuals within that water zone. When intrusion occurs, the hippo responds by opening its mouth extremely wide and exposing long, sharp canines. This action serves as a direct warning signal. On land, hippo movement appears slow. In water, and at short distance, speed and body mass make them one of the most dangerous species in Africa. However, the ecosystem where hippos live is under increasing pressure. Human activity fragments rivers, lakes, and grasslands. Water sources are reduced or polluted. Conflicts between humans and wildlife occur more frequently. Diseases from livestock spread to native species. Poaching continues in many areas. These impacts do not affect hippos alone. Elephants, buffalo, African wild dogs, and hyenas share the same consequences. Ecological order maintained for thousands of years is changing rapidly across the savannah. Elephant calves are born with large body mass close to 220 pounds, but have almost no ability to defend themselves. Early steps lack stability, reactions are slow, and vulnerability to large predators is high. In open environments, threats can approach from multiple directions, from dry grassland to river edges. As soon as danger signs are detected, the herd formation changes immediately. Adult individuals move quickly to close distances. Calves are pushed deep into the center. Large bodies turn outward and form a closed ring. Gaps within the formation are eliminated. All direct access routes are blocked. This response occurs within a very short time. No individual separates from the herd. The herd holds position and maintains pressure through body mass and occupied space. Faced with this dense defensive structure, predators are forced to withdraw to avoid risk. The formation only expands again when the area returns to safety. Through this collective protection mechanism, elephant calves gain the opportunity to survive the most vulnerable stage of early life. Sound spreads before the wildebeest herd appears in the frame. The ground shakes repeatedly under the weight of tens of thousands of hooves moving together. Dry plain, a continuous flow of movement extends to the horizon. Dark bodies move without pause and maintain a steady rhythm without interruption. The herd spreads across a vast area and forms a massive living body advancing across sun-scorched savannah. The body form of the wildebeest has a distinctive structure. The head is large, the neck is short, and a coarse mane runs along the spine. The hindquarters are lean and strong and adapted for long-distance travel. Each running step is not explosively fast, but is repeated with endurance for many hours. Endurance is the key factor that allows this species to maintain long migration routes across multiple terrain types. The migration extends for hundreds of miles. The herd repeatedly crosses rivers, open grasslands, and cracked dry regions. Each phase carries risk. Food availability is unstable. Terrain conditions change constantly. Predator pressure remains present along the entire route. Despite this, the movement does not stop. The step rhythm of the wildebeest remains steady and continues across generations. On the savannah, their movement creates a large-scale biological rhythm. Grass is grazed low. Seeds are dispersed. Nutrients are redistributed across wide areas. The great wildebeest migration is not only a journey to find water and food, but also a moving force that shapes the surrounding ecological space. Wildebeest hold a central position in the savannah food chain. Large numbers and constant movement make them a continuous target for terrestrial predators. At the edges of the herd, lions observe from tall grass. Cheetahs focus on young individuals or those that fall out of rhythm. African wild dogs organize extended chases across open terrain. Predation pressure follows the herd throughout the migration. A small gap in formation is enough for danger to appear immediately. When a threat becomes clear, the wildebeest herd changes movement behavior. Spacing between individuals narrows rapidly. The herd compresses into a dense mass and accelerates along a broad path. Synchronized movement reduces the ability of predators to lock onto a single target. However, very high density introduces additional risk. In tense situations, panic responses can spread quickly. Sloped ground, narrow passages or riverbanks become dangerous points when movement loses control. As the sun rises, higher dust is continuously stirred. visibility drops sharply. The ground vibrates with the rapid rhythm of hooves. The herd does not stop. Movement pace is maintained regardless of temperature or ground conditions. Within the moving mass, young wildebeest stay close to adult individuals. Slips and falls occur frequently. Young individuals quickly stand and rejoin the formation to avoid separation. Leopards maintain a solitary lifestyle for most of their life cycle. Each individual hunts, defends, and raises offspring independently. The range of a female can extend across several dozen square miles and includes ambush points, familiar travel paths, and tall trees used to store prey. Territorial boundaries remain stable for long periods and limit overlap. When cubs are born, the early stage occurs in concealed conditions. Cubs are only a few weeks old, vision is not fully developed, and long-distance movement is not possible. Hiding locations are frequently changed to avoid detection. All nutrition and safety depend on the mother. Each hunting trip directly affects cub survival. The hunting process follows careful calculation. Leopards often approach areas with impala and select elevated observation positions. Timing is determined by distance and wind direction. When the target enters, range movement occurs very quickly. A short charge ends with a grip on the prey neck. After the kill, the carcass is dragged into a tall tree. This handling method preserves the food source and reduces the risk of theft. The entire behavior sequence occurs efficiently, precisely, and with minimal exposure. African wild dogs rank among the most efficient predators on the savannah. Most chases end with prey brought down. Success rates exceed those of many other carnivores due to pack-based hunting organization and the ability to sustain speed over long periods. Hunts usually begin with target detection in open space. The pack rapidly spreads formation and applies pressure from multiple directions. Prey is forced to run continuously until exhaustion occurs. After each hunt, food is not reserved only for individuals that directly participated in the chase. Pups receive priority feeding. African wild dogs move with high coordination. Spacing between individuals remains consistent. Speed is adjusted flexibly according to terrain and pack condition. When crossing open areas, formation extends to cover space. When risk appears, spacing contracts rapidly. No individual operates separately for extended periods. Synchronization is evident in hunting movement and pup rearing. Each individual responds to collective pack motion. Movement rhythm is maintained continuously with minimal interruption. This structure produces high hunting efficiency and supports sustained survival on the savannah. For African wild dogs, strength is not found in a single individual, but in pack operation as a unified system. Lionesses separate from the pride during the birthing period. Selected locations are concealed distant from main travel routes and minimize scent spread. Isolated birth reduces detection risk from hyenas, leopards, or male lions outside the pride. During the early stage, cubs lack mobility and depend entirely on milk. All lioness activity during this period focuses on maintaining concealment and avoiding trace exposure. Threats do not come only from other predators. When a new male lion takes control of a pride, existing cubs become targets. Removal of the entire young cohort causes lionesses to return rapidly to reproductive cycles. This factor alters pride structure over short time frames and directly affects cub survival rates. On the African savannah, every movement revolves around a core principle, which is survival. In this environment, advantage is not determined only by sharp teeth, claws, speed, or body mass. Many species maintain life through other factors that are quiet but more effective. Patience determines the timing of prey approach or danger avoidance. Sacrifice appears when adult individuals accept outer positions and face risk to protect young. Protective behavior occurs continuously, from shielding and formation control to selecting movement routes with lower risk. All of this is maintained through herd structure and tight coordination. Young individuals are always central to many social systems on the savannah. They are kept in the safest positions, nourished by shared resources, and prioritized during high-pressure situations. Closed defensive rings, slowed movement and route changes all aim to reduce risk for the next generation. In every chase phase, every formation turn, and every response to danger, the role of offspring protection is clearly visible. This factor allows many species to maintain populations over long periods. On the African savannah, the most enduring strength lies in the ability to preserve life for the next generation. Morning on the Serengeti savannah opens with light spread evenly across the vast ground. Dry grass with golden tones reflects early sunlight and reveals movement paths and fresh tracks. The space appears quiet, but biological activity has already begun, simultaneously in many locations. Herbivores leave night resting areas to search for food and water. Predators move at the edges of visibility and select approach, direction, and distance. Every action is calculated based on terrain, wind, and herd movement rhythm. There is no absolute safe period. A small deviation in formation or speed can change the situation immediately. Within dense, tall, dry grass, a low, slender movement appears and disappears quickly. A cheetah is approaching the grassland edge. This species is the fastest terrestrial predator, optimized entirely for short acceleration bursts. A streamlined body and light skeletal structure reduce movement weight. The spine has a wide flexion range, allowing full extension of front and rear limbs during each stride. Long hind limbs generate strong propulsion and allow very long stride length. When pursuit begins, the cheetah accelerates almost immediately. Within the first few seconds, speed can exceed that of most other predators. If prey is not brought down quickly, the cheetah must stop to avoid exhaustion. Each hunt is a calculated decision based on distance, terrain, and prey escape capacity. After leaving the hunting area, the female cheetah returns to the shelter site. Cubs stay close to the front body and move slowly with limited stability. They are only a few weeks old and lack strength to follow hunting activity. A layer of long silver-grey fur covers the cub back and disrupts body outline within dense grass. This fur layer reduces detection probability at distance during a vulnerable stage. Cubs depend entirely on the mother for nourishment and protection. Each hunting trip directly affects survival capacity of the entire group. At midday, the Serengeti experiences the highest heat pressure of the day. Sunlight strikes directly onto the grassland and causes light air distortion near the ground. At the edge of an open patch, a single antelope stands still, with ears upright and neck extended. Farther away, impala groups are scattered into small clusters. Bodies are slender, legs are long. Reddish-brown coats reflect strong light. Eyes scan continuously across the plain without fixing on one direction. At the grassland edge, a female cheetah lowers her body. The head, spine, and tail axis lies close to the ground. Muscle groups along the spine and hind limbs tense and prepare to release force. Wind direction shifts and reduces early detection risk. Distance between the two species gradually closes. At approximately 197 feet, All factors are calculated. Movement erupts within a very short interval. The cheetah accelerates almost immediately. Initial strides extend the entire body length. Stride rhythm lengthens. The head stays low to stabilize direction. The chase ends quickly. The grassland returns to stillness. Only rapid breathing remains in the open space where contact occurred. The prey is dragged away from the open area. Time becomes the critical factor. Scavengers and other predators can appear at any moment. The cheetah begins feeding immediately and focuses on easily consumed sections. Afterward, the cubs are called forward. They approach slowly and maintain safe distance before feeding. The feeding period does not last long. When full, the three cubs lie pressed against the ground beneath limited shade of an acacia tree. Activity decreases gradually. Breathing stabilizes. The mother stands nearby with head raised and ears rotating continuously to collect surrounding signals. Stillness on the savannah does not last. It is broken quickly. From the horizon, a series of sharp, dry sounds rises. The rhythm is intermittent. Pitch varies. This is the familiar signal of spotted hyenas. Spotted hyenas, crocuta crocuta, are present across most open grasslands of Africa. They do not rely entirely on carrion. Most energy comes from active hunting. Strong jaws and developed jaw muscles generate extremely high bite force. This force is sufficient to break large bones and access nutrient-rich marrow. This advantage is held by very few other carnivores. The body of the spotted hyena is heavy and solid. The neck is thick, shoulders are high, front legs are longer than rear legs and create a sloped back profile. This structure supports stability during long-distance running and prey control during struggle. They do not rely on fast pounce. They pursue, they exhaust, they wait for physical decline. Spotted hyenas live within tightly structured matriarchal clans. Group size can reach several dozen individuals. Females hold central positions in hunting, food control, and territory defense. Individuals coordinate flexibly and change positions continuously during pursuit. Developed sense of smell allows detection of meat from very long distances. Any carcass brought down on grassland faces detection risk. For solitary predators, the arrival of spotted hyenas creates intense pressure. Food resources can disappear within a short period, even when a hunt has just ended. Open grassland exposes all movement. On dry ground, the African ostrich, Struthio camelus, appears with characteristic gait. This species is the largest living bird. Body height is great. Body mass is large. Movement capability contrasts with size. Two long legs with developed muscles and optimized knee and ankle joints support wide stride length. When required, the ostrich can accelerate beyond 43 miles per hour. Each running step generates strong forward propulsion. Above the ground, flamingos Phenicopterus roseus fly in formation. Long wings extend fully and beat with steady rhythm. Feather color reflects late daylight and forms a clear movement band against the sky. Below, multiple antelope species are distributed across the plain. Impala occupy open spaces near shrubs. Larger species spread across open grassland. While feeding heads lower toward the ground, when stopping, ears rise and bodies remain still for several seconds to assess surroundings. As light weakens, colors across the grassland gradually shift. Shadows of elephants, buffalo, giraffes, and antelope stretch across the ground and merge with wind movement, bird wings, and the continuous step rhythm of the Serengeti. Cheetahs persist through access to open space and stable prey density. Wide grasslands allow high-speed pursuit. Antelope and impala herds provide the energy required to raise cubs. When prey declines, hunting success rates decline as well. Hyenas, African wild dogs, and lions directly affect herbivore populations. Elephants alter ground structure. Movement tree breaking and water digging create paths and water access points for many other species. At lower levels, small birds and insects perform pollination, seed dispersal, and organic decomposition. This system now experiences heavy pressure. Agricultural expansion, climate change, and poaching disrupt biological cycles. When one species declines, the entire network is affected. Maintaining the Serengeti means preserving all operating ecological links.